Hey drummers, hope you're well. Shout out to superstar drummer student Lucy and several channel members who always say, can we have more ska? I think this is technically rocksteady rather than ska, but pretty close. So here you go. I'm going to highlight here 3 drum fills from this classic tune. This is Message to You, Rudy, the specials version. I know the original is by Dandy Livingstone. I love that version actually. It's very straight, classic rocksteady, like very straight as in not very elaborate on drums. It kind of lands on that one beat, the one drop thing and stays there. But the specials version is a bit more played by John Bradbury. It's a bit more. It's got a bit more like variety in the stuff that he plays. I made a video already about the main groove, so I won't discuss that here. You can check that out. I'll link to that below if that's of interest. I want to highlight 3 drum fills here, and I actually really love this drum performance. There's 3 bits right near the start here that I really love. I think it's worth pulling these out. Even if you don't learn the whole of a song, I would say, even if you don't learn the whole thing note for note, I've talked about this quite a bit on this channel, but one of my favourite things is just to pick these moments out of tunes that you love, and it really gives you a flavour of like what a drummer is all about. And this is really, really lovely stuff, I think. The opening fill is the first one, goes like this. So that sort of sound, it's 1 bar long. You've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if you play it as single strokes, which I would do, it involves that rudiment called a single stroke 4. A bit of that. The first note of all is the snare and the floor tom together. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a really lovely sound, I think. I'll play it a bit slower. 2 and 3 and 4 and. And at tempo, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's that. As usual, but I'll stick the notation on the screen briefly. But as usual, on the channel members page, channel members, you'll get the notation and a practice along version. You can slow down and practice along to. I'll do like bar of the drum fill, then a bar of groove, and you can sort of roll it back and forth. That lovely bit of drill. Second drum fill is the bit that leads into the first verse. So that fill I just played is right at the start, brings the drum part in, but this is the fill just before the first verse, just leading into Stop Your Messing Around, and that goes like this. 3 and 4 and. Really nice little moment. Now it's if you take the double stroke element, there's like these little diddles, little double strokes. If you take them out for the to have a look at it at first, it would be like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's a bit like a sort of simplified, almost like a Motown type of fill. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you've got that that I would play as a left stick on the snare drum, and 2 and and then 3 and 4 and. But the really cool bit is on when you're playing 3 E and the and are diddled. Good old bounce doubles. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, which just makes it so much nicer. I think so much cooler. So I'll play the 2 bars leading into it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and play it again. And 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 for luck, bit slower. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Very cool. And this last one is probably the simplest, but I think this is my favourite moment in the whole drum performance. This is really lovely. This is at the end of the chorus, and it's just when the horn phrase comes back in, or I don't know what you call that, the little break, or the little break after the chorus. And that just goes over to the ride cymbal. So it's just so perfect. I don't know if it's like, is it a bit of a jazzy influence, or did it just a moment he just did it? I just think it's so cool, and it just sort of really stands out amongst all the other stuff, which is all like hi-hat bass. It really, really stands out in that moment. So I'll do the 2 bars leading up to that. This is at the end of the chorus. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... And then that's where the horn phrase starts to come in. I'll do that a couple of times. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So it's like 3 E and 4 E and. Very cool. At tempo 2, 3, 4. So 3 for you there. Like I say, head over to the channel members page. Channel members, I'll have them written out for you. You can download them and practice along version. You can roll round and round. I'll do them as they are, but I'll also put them as like in context with a bit of groove, and you can loop that and roll it around and practice it along if you want to. But they're 3 lovely moments. That's only the first bit of the song, isn't it? But they're just absolutely lovely. What a lovely thing to do, to really delve into a classic bit of drumming, pick some moments out, even if you don't learn the whole thing, pick some classic moments, be inspired by that, and what a lovely thing to do. So there you go. People asking for ska. Like I say, I think technically it's rocksteady. Certainly the Dandy Livingstone one was rocksteady, as opposed to ska. But man, it's in that vein, isn't it? Thanks to Lucy and everyone else who's asking for ska type stuff. I'll do some more on that. A classic tune. Have a great weekend. Cheers.